Hey guys, I accidentally deleted the clip that was my intro to this video, which is really annoying because the intro to this video was literally almost 30 days ago. So this is like very much not the right kind of like time order. But basically this is going to be my form of an April reading wrap up. I wanted to try it in a new way where I tell you guys about the books I'm reading as I finish them throughout the month. I have like the worst memory ever. Even if it's a 5-star book, I will immediately forget about it once I've read another one. Obviously I remember parts of the book, but just like not as well as immediately after finishing it. Even immediately after finishing it, my mind is like out the window. However, I just wanted to give this like format a chance. See how it goes. I'm sorry if you can tell I'm like super nasally. I don't know why, but my allergies this week just hit me like a truck and I can barely breathe out of my nose. So there's that, and I hope you guys enjoy hearing about all the books I read, and I hope you guys find one that sounds interesting to you guys. I try not to give any spoilers at all and the bare minimum of information because that's how I like to go into reading books. So if that's for you, then this video will be perfect. I finished House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. I have mixed feelings. So I feel like this book didn't get good till like page 333. I thought that it was a romance, like more focused on romance, but the romance, like you get little pieces of it, but it doesn't really happen until like the very end. And even at the very end, it's barely happening. The reason I picked it up is because in Barnes & Noble it said that this was like a Barbie 12 Dancing Princesses kind of like inspired. I don't know if it actually like purposely was inspired, but it did have like that vibe, like a bunch of sisters and they like dance at night, and it was pretty good. I think I rated this like a 3. I am intrigued to read the second book in this series because there was this little girl in this book and she was so cute and I loved her so much. She was weird, but I loved her so much, and she's like the main character in the next book. So don't read this if you're going in like you need a romance right now, because you're not gonna get it. You're just not. So yeah, I'll be back when I finish my next read.
All right, hello again. It is the same day. I did change, so it might not look like the same day, but it is still April 4th. I just finished Belle Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I think I started this last night, but I finished it today. All whatever, 500 pages. I did not realize it was that long. But it was so good. Like, I'm obsessed with this book. It was like the perfect enemies to lovers to enemies. Loved how this one, you could see their like the spark between them in the beginning. And it was so good. It was so good. And I'm going to start the second one right now because I'm just dying to know how like everything goes after this book. Dying. I think that's pretty much all that I have to say. Yeah, just obsessed. I love like the family aspect in this book. And like I love when the girl's like a badass, like assassin kind of girl. And that's how Kezzy is in this. Hello, welcome back. It's been exactly a week since I last updated you guys because it's how long it took me to read Belle Thieves. So on April 11th, I think is today's date, I finished Belle Thieves. It took me a while. The first half of this book, I was just like trudging through. I don't know what it was. Like I am invested in Jason Kazi and I love him so much, but for some reason the first half of this book I just wasn't completely enthralled, I guess is the right word. And it is what it is. I'm really torn on how I want to rate this book because since I like wasn't just in love with it, I want to say a 3, but I did love the ending and I loved the people and like it was good. It was a good book. So maybe I will just do 3. But yeah, I think the reason that I just wasn't so obsessed is because by the end of skip this if you don't want spoilers for this series. In the beginning of this book, they're not together. And they're not together for like majority of this book, I would say. And I was just like, I wanted them to be together, so I wanted to read to see when they got together. But I was also just like bored out of my mind with how much information I got about them like trying to get to each other. So 3 stars, but I do like this series a lot. It was definitely a good fantasy romance read. That's all for now. I'm gonna go to the gym and then I will update you guys when I read my next book, which I have no idea what it's gonna be, but I'm definitely gonna start reading it tonight. So stay tuned. Welcome to the next book that I've read. This is Twisted Love, and before I get into talking about this book that I just finished, I just want to let you guys know I have an actual camera now, so if the quality has like drastically improved, you're welcome.
but also I'm sorry that it just like doesn't fit with the other, like the last couple clips in this video. Anyways, I finished Twisted Love a couple days ago, but I was in the process of getting my camera and I didn't want to record like my feelings about this until I had a camera, and now I do. So here we are. I actually really love this book. First of all, the cover is beautiful. I'm so excited to get it up on my shelves. But I finished this on April 14th, I believe. It was really good. I read King of Wrath on my Kindle a little bit ago. I read that and I really enjoyed it, so I thought that I'd give her other series a try. And I really like this first book as well. Really loved it. I think I rated it about like a 3-star, maybe even a 2.75. It wasn't my favorite. I like the subplot of Alex and Ava and their own issues. But the main thing that I liked about this was Ava's friends. They were so funny and I just love them. And also, I just liked Ava's kind of personality. Kind of like I saw myself in her in some ways. Or just like optimistic to a fault, I guess. This was a good like little avenue into those kind of books. But yeah, I liked it. Not much more to say. It was a good book. And I will keep reading the other ones. See you when I finish another book. Hello. So last night I made a terrible mistake. I accidentally drank caffeinated green tea before bed instead of just plain or decaf, and I was up till 1 a.m. Like I got in bed at 9:30 and I was up till 1 a.m. But you know what that means. I did finish another book. So last night I finished A Taste of Poison, which is a Snow White retelling by Desanya Odette. I was delirious reading this, so I'm sorry if my thoughts are not very clear. But I really liked it. I thought it was so interesting to read like a retelling of a childhood princess story. I thought it was funny because instead of like Snow White going to like live with 7 dwarves, she goes and like escapes to the Seven Sins Hotel, which I thought was such a good way to like transform it into fantasy. The kind of like fantasy that it was different than a lot of others I've read, just because the humans and the fae were together in this world, and I've never really read a book like that. So basically the huntsman Torben is sent to get Snow White's bleeding heart, but Snow White wants to prove her innocence because the stepmother thinks that she killed her father. So basically the whole book is kind of her trying to convince Torben that she's innocent, and then also them both trying to find who actually killed her father. Overall, though, I did rate it only 3 stars. It was a good book. I'm in this like rut where every book is good, but it's not amazing, which isn't very fun. But yeah, I definitely want to read the other books in the series because it's basically like a whole fae series of princess retellings. Hey guys, I just finished The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. Oh my gosh, 5 stars, 100% 5 stars. Leon and Tiffy, so cute. This book is unlike like any romance book I've ever read. Such an interesting concept. They like share the same flat. They sleep in it at different times of the day. And it just like was perfect. The timing, like it didn't seem rushed or anything, but it also like things were progressing where I was still interested in the romance. Like I wouldn't call it a slow burn at all, but it like went over the course of a year or 2, if you count the epilogue. But it was just so sweet and touched my heartstrings, and I just love them so much. And the way that she wrote Leon, so it was dual point of view too. So Tiffy is like written, I feel like just normal. Like if you open any other romance book, like the characters just speak that way. And then Leon, like it was just so interesting how the way that she wrote his character and the way that his like inner monologue or whatever just like showed you so much of his personality. And I love that. It was different than like anything I've ever read. The chapters were like genuinely pretty short, like 3 pages max. I don't know. And they wrote, the way that they communicated in the book is they wrote like little sticky note post-its to each other like before communicating via phone, I guess. And it was just so good. So that was a 5 star from me for sure. I'm definitely gonna read my next book on my Kindle because I've been into reading before bed again. I mean, I'm always into reading before bed, but it's just a lot comfier to do it on my Kindle and easier to just fall asleep. So I'm gonna go pick a book on my Kindle. Sorry if there's like random background noise, but I just finished Mile High by Liz Tomford, and it was so good. It was like, this was a long book. It was like 600 pages. I literally just ran through it. I loved it so much. I really liked how it touched on like their mental health, and I think it did a really good job of that. I just loved the main characters. Like Stevie and Xander's were so cute, and their little nicknames like V and Z, so cute. Like I just fell in love with this couple. It was like the perfect amount of spice in a book, I feel like, and the little like the dog shelter, and there were just so many parts that just like made my heart melt in this book, and it was so cute. And it makes me really want to read the next one. It's like a interconnected kind of series about people in Chicago. It was basically about Xander's was a hockey player and Stevie was one of the flight attendants, and Xander's is like some playboy, but not really. It was just like his persona. And then obviously he falls in love with Stevie, and it was just so cute, and I loved it so much. Definitely a good read. Highly recommend. I'm back. Okay, so I just finished Where Bad Girls Go to Fall by Holly Renee. And it was like only 200 pages, and I feel like it was just very rushed. So I would rate it like 2.75. I don't know, I thought it was really rushed, and I didn't really like, I mean I liked them, the couple, but it was just really rushed. I don't think I like books that are only 200 pages. I just finished French Kissing in New York by and I am not going to tell you guys much about this book because this one, and probably I don't know how many other ones I'll get through in April, but this book and a couple others are a part of another video where I'm going more in detail about them. So I will just tell you that I rated this a 2.75. That seems fair. So on April 23rd, I finished The Love Wager by Lynn Painter, and I rated this a 4 stars. This is also one that I'm talking about in another video that should be up next week, hopefully. But overall, I like this book. It was super sweet. I think if you're gonna read, honestly, in my opinion, if you're gonna read any of Lynn Painter's books, I would read this one. Like, this has been my favorite one so far. Hello. It's April 24th, and I just finished Heart of the Raven Prince by Sonia Odette. This is part of the interconnected standalone series Entangled with Fae, and I loved this book as well. I have some notes. I actually took some notes while I was reading this time, which I never do, but I think it was actually really helpful. Basically, this book was about, it was a Cinderella retelling, so it was about a girl named Ember, and she was like bonded to her stepmother to obey, and then she meets the Raven Prince Franco, and there's a whole thing. There's like some fake dating kind of in there, fake courting, I guess. But I thought that this book was like a mix of just like the classic Cinderella movie, but also the movie Ella Enchanted, if you know that movie, because she had to like obey like everyone, but in this book it was just her stepmother. But I thought that that was really good because I love like Ella Enchanted and just like that whole concept. It was a really good book. I'm really liking this whole series so far. I don't know if I said, but I rated it a 3. I've read these on my Kindle, so I feel like I definitely want to get the whole series in paperbacks because I just am loving every single one. It is April 26th, and I just finished Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I just got done crying, so I'm a little bit of a mess, but I love this book. If you don't know, if you're living under a rock and you don't know anything about this book, it's about Knox and Naomi, and Naomi is like a good girl, moves to a small town to try to help out her twin sister. In the first like page she meets Knox, who's just like kind of just a stubborn a-hole, I guess. He's got his own stuff, and I loved all the people that Naomi met. And I thought it was really interesting to incorporate like having like a twin sister who's just like not good at all. The one thing that I thought was a little annoying at the end of this book, spoiler alert, if you read it, this is fine, but spoiler, skip to this timestamp here if you don't want to know. But I did not like that Knox only like figured out that he was in love with Naomi after she almost died. Like, really, it took you that much? Like, I know he would have come around eventually, but like that had to be the thing. But still 5-star for me because I still loved it. Like, I thought that was really entertaining and like it was interesting. So I don't hate it, but I was just like, really, come on. Anyway, yeah, so this is a 5-star read for sure. I loved it. Grumpy sunshine, small town. I liked the like forced proximity aspect. I might get through like a couple more books for this video, I hope, because April's almost over. It's almost over. Hey guys, it is April 28th, so we officially only have 2 more days left in April, which is crazy. So I think this might be my last update for you guys of what I have finished this month. But I just finished Kiss of the Silky by Tasanya Odette. I read like the whole Entangled with Faye series on my Kindle, and I read every book except for there's one that hasn't come out yet, like a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and then I haven't read the first one, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Kiss of the Silky was the Little Mermaid kind of retelling, and it was really interesting how they did it. I just didn't feel like enough between the characters to rate it really highly, so I rated it a 2.5 stars, which I think is fair. The author kind of wrote it as how she like incorporated Little Mermaid. Like Maisie was the main character and she like loved stealing things, but like also like finding things, just like Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And then the way that she saved, he wasn't a prince in this, he was a brother of a church, but his name was Darian, I believe. Like he just was described exactly how Prince Eric is in The Little Mermaid, which I thought was interesting. So I said that he like the way that he's described sounds just like how Prince Eric like looks visually. And then the way that they kind of like get together is that basically Maisie is running away from her mother, who's like evil and wants to like use her powers of like Maisie's kiss is lethal, like for bad, I guess. And she finds Maisie after she saves Darian from drowning from a shipwreck, and her mother basically says you have to kill him because he did something bad, and she has to get Darian to kiss her. So she enters like this pageant for him finding a wife, and it's literally just The Bachelor. Like it's The Bachelor but in fantasy church realm. So it was really interesting. I thought it was super funny. Like even down to the fact that at the end of every day there was like a ceremony where they got flowers, and whoever got like the white flower was going home. So it was literally The Bachelor, which I thought was like really entertaining. It was good. I really liked it. And you guys should definitely go read the Entangled with Faye series. Especially if you like are feeling nostalgic for Disney princess things when you were a kid, go read one of these because you'll like it. Just in case I don't finish any more books, this is like my wrap up for April. I hope you guys enjoyed this format. Let me know. If not, next month I might try out like just a sit down video at the end of the month once I've finished reading all my books. But I think it was like more engaging for me to get to pick up the camera like every other day, because I was on a roll this month of reading. I don't think I've ever had this good of a reading month. In total, I read 13 books this month, and there were like 3 5-stars in there or something crazy like that. So I've never had this good of a reading month, which is really fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed, found a book maybe that you want to pick up. And yeah, I hope you guys remember to like and subscribe, and let me know what your favorite read of this month was down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!